is Murphy Daily, written by Murphy. I am doing a book review of Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This book was published in March of 2020. So, right, like 2 seconds before the pandemic. Now, I had seen that this was out there. I saw noise about it. I'm thinking this was publisher noise. Not so much noise from my friends, but a lot of people were wanting to read it, and so I had it on my list of things to read. I actually put it on hold at the library, and it finally came in. So I read it, just finished it. Glennon Doyle is a mommy blogger. I just saw that it was noise. I didn't realize who she was. She's the woman who does Momastery, or did Momastery. And that had been, like, a friend of mine had given that to me. I'm like, oh, and she's like, I really like her. I'm like, okay. This friend is definitely a evangelical Christian, so I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Now, the thing about it is, this particular book, she's written a couple other books. Apparently, one of her books is Love Warrior, which I haven't read. And I'm thinking it is probably a better book than this one, than Untamed. She had a change in her life. Love Warrior was from what she says in the book, about her struggles with trying to keep her family together and trying to keep her marriage going even though there was infidelity. All these things. So, okay, this is real life. This is a mom trying to be a mom and working through the issues, right? Well, in this book, she tells the story of how she fell in love with another person. She fell in love with a woman and left her husband to go be with that woman. This would be a shock, particularly for the friend I'm thinking of who suggested I read Momastery. I'm like, oh, she would not have done well with that. And if we were still friends, I would go ask her, hey, what'd you think of that? I'm like, okay, that's a big shift. Christian or not, that's a big shift for anyone to change from a life where you think you're straight to a life where you are now in a homosexual relationship. So that is a shift. And it was interesting to hear her thoughts about it. However, in this book, it was not as bookish as I wanted it to be. I wanted to hear more about this struggle. That would be a struggle. Hey, that's a story. If I had a friend who was going through this, and I've had one or two, hello Frank, I've had one or two friends that did go through this, and I'm like, I'd like to hear your story. I want to hear what it felt like. I want to hear what you learned about that. And she touched on it, but she didn't go as deep in it as I would have wanted. So the beginning, there were a couple times when it was good, and they were like, ooh, that's a good moment. And there was a lot of times I'm like, okay, lady, you're just stringing together a bunch of mommy blogger posts. Fine. And if I were a person that followed her mommy blog, I would have been okay with that. But I was disappointed in the book. I feel like maybe if I'm going to read her again, I should go back and read Love Warrior, which is still going to be kind of weirdly ruined because she's fighting for the relationship that she in fact left. So I don't know. Anyway, this is my review of Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I waited a really long time to get it, and I was disappointed in it. But there you go. And oh my goodness. Okay, also, if I'm talking about being disappointed, she was really preachy. I did not like that. I'm like, really? Okay, lady, don't love it. Don't love it. So, super popular. It has, oh my gosh, 40,000 ratings. So she's got some major fans out there. Good for her. And if you like it, fantastic. There's nothing really wrong with it, but it was, excuse me. No, there were some things wrong with it. It wasn't horrible, but the preachy stuff I'm not liking. Because here's the thing. I too am a blogger. I'm not exactly a mommy blogger, although I am a mom and I talk about it a little bit in my blog, but not that much. I work really hard to keep my writing from telling other people how to feel. She does the opposite. I don't like that. So I'm going to say, I don't like that. And actually made me realize, hey, I do work hard to make my writing be, here's my experience, let me present it to you, and you can make up your own mind. You can join me, or you can be like, ooh, that is not what I think at all, but it's interesting that you think that. That's what I'm working towards. So that is my review of Untamed by Glennon Doyle, which is all the hotness in the women's, the mommy blogger audience. I don't know if that many men are reading it. Maybe they are. That would be great. If there's a dude out there who's trying to learn how to co-parent, maybe that would be good with an ex-wife, particularly an ex-wife who goes and marries another woman. This could be useful, I suppose. So anyway, that is Untamed. That's what I got. I finished that today, and I'm planning on moving on to, I don't know, probably another nonfiction. I was wanting a nonfiction with this book and excited to get it, but I'm thinking maybe a business one would be in order. Okay, friends, that's what I got. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of it. I'd love to keep the conversation going.